My name is Chris Torch. I am the artistic director of Intercult, an institution based in Stockholm, Sweden, working with international and intercultural exchange. I am also today representing as vice representative of IFA, the European Forum for Arts and Heritage, of which I am vice president, and also a member of the steering group for the Civil Society Platform for Intercultural Dialogue, which is a network or a platform still in its birth and just developing, and I hope that we will hear more about that during the coming 48 hours. We will not remain in this room for 48 hours, I promise you. I am replacing, as moderator, maybe some of you have seen earlier, but a colleague of mine and dear friend, Birgitta Englin, who is the director of Riksteatern, the National Touring Theatre in Sweden, who at the last moment was not able to come. As I was lucky enough to be part of her preparation for this role, the lot fell upon me, and here I am. I am only partially oriented about our keynote speakers and what they will present to us today. However, I would like to underline that the absolutely essential role in this workshop in these next 2 days are all of you that are sitting here. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that you make your voices heard as concretely and as clearly as possible. The keynote speakers that have been invited to come will come each with their perspectives in a very broad territory of intercultural dialogue. However, what we really are here to do today and tomorrow is to look at one of the 3 major points that the Communication on Culture from the Commission has put forward, to explore this, to add to it, to criticize it, and to come up with something clear that my colleague Antonio can put into a report that will take the process further. If I may just say a couple of words before we begin. One, I want to underline the seriousness of the task that we are about to begin. This is not a conference. We are not here just to listen and have some coffee in between. We are actually, for the first time, have been invited by the Commission to actually participate in a serious and deep consultation, which is only beginning in these 2 days, it will not be the end, towards a cultural agenda for Europe. I'm reminded of an anecdote of Mahatma Gandhi during the conflict with the British Empire at that time, and he came on an airplane to England to negotiate with Winston Churchill, and this little man with his little round glasses and his bare feet came off of the plane, was met by hundreds of journalists, their microphones in his face, and one of the journalists called out, Mr. Gandhi, what do you think of Western civilization? And Gandhi responded, after blinking his eyes a few times, I think it would be a very good idea. I've always been very touched by that because it still is my dream as a European, as a Swede, as a cultural worker. It is still my dream that there is something called European civilization, that we really do somehow hold together, but it's an undefined and still to be created identity, one of the many identities that each one of us carries with them, or him or her. And I believe that it's essential that we are part of creating this identity, and that the only way that this identity can be created is through cultural work, that it is an essential aspect of the European project, as Madame Quentin pointed out, as well as several of our keynote speakers earlier this morning. I also want to underline the urgency of our specific workshop, the Intercultural Dialogue. I think all of you are aware. Most of us are living in cities, in urban environments, where migration, where guest workers and transference of labor forces between countries, not only European, but also on a globalized perspective, have transformed our urban realities into wonderful opportunities for dialogue and transformation. but that intercultural dialogue, that intercultural competence can only be developed by a will to be changed yourself. If you meet someone, the other, and you stand in front of them and you say, hello, my name is Chris, and I just want you to know that I cannot be changed, then we have absolutely no beginning for any kind of relationship or friendship. So we must be prepared not only to listen, but also to allow ourselves to be transformed in the meeting with the other. And this is the essential point of intercultural dialogue. I'm going to leave, of course, the word to all of you and to our keynote speakers, one after the other. But I would like to just point out one thing. We are faced, in my opinion, with two emerging scenarios in Europe today. The bad news first. We are faced with a fragmentization of our European societies by migration, which is followed by migration followed by isolation, the cultural ghettos that were mentioned also by the Princess this morning, by the marginalization of cultural minorities and other subcultures within our societies. This is combined or accentuated by an unhealthy homogenization of cultural expression through the entertainment industry. And I think that my colleague here, we spoke earlier this morning about multilingualism. This is one of the examples of one of the areas that we certainly have to find policy and possibilities. Because this homogenization of the culture that is done through the entertainment industry, and a globalized entertainment industry, is in fact our greatest threat to our identity as a diverse society. Now the good news. The other scenario is actually that we are engaged in, and we are part of it today, an interweaving and an ongoing constructive interweaving of our different identities. Not only national identities or ethnic identities, but also our identities as men and women, our professional identities, our identities as parents, all of the various identities which all together make me or you. That is, can we negotiate between these multiple identities and find something which is not only a balance to the homogenization of culture and to this fragmentization and isolation of minorities and subcultural expressions, but is it in fact possible for us as individuals to create quite simply another sphere of meeting and of transformation? I believe it is, and I believe that the communication on culture underlines the importance of this. The year of intercultural dialogue in 2008 underlines this. The development of the Alliance for Civilizations underlines this. The white paper that the Council of Europe is working on now on cultural diversity underlines this. We are at a turning point. Are we prepared to take the challenge? I hope so. And I think that you participating here in this room in these next 2 days is proof of that.